Hi everyone, happy Metaphysical Monday. I hope your week is off to a good start. I'm really excited. We have a special interview today. But first I want to remind you that tomorrow is our 420 contest. It's a monthly contest where I hold up a stone and you get to guess what it is, and out of all the correct guesses, I pick a random winner the next morning. It's just another way to get stoned at the Fossil Cartel. So I'm very excited. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Yaakov. If you could look over here, because that's where the camera is.
Okay.
Okay, because otherwise it's weird. It looks like I'm not looking at you guys. We're not looking at you guys, so I had to give him that little instruction. So, without further ado, so Yaakov, I'll bring him over in a second, but I first want to say that he's an energy medicine practitioner, and I just want to share a little bit of my own experience. So, my whole life, I've had the weirdest physical ailments where regular allopathic medicine doctors couldn't figure out why it was happening. Like even when I was 9 years old, I was getting all these diseases in my eyes, and they finally put me in a hospital in New York City to try to figure out what was happening. I was there for like a week or 10 days or something. They still couldn't figure it out. It finally went away after a while, but that happened my whole life. Like I'd get these weird, there's a word for it, idiopathic. They don't know why it's happening, so they say it's idiopathic. And I realized throughout my life that because we're not just physical beings, we're mind, body, spirit. It's all connected. Because of that, you have to be a little bit of a detective and be proactive about your own life and be an advocate for yourself, because medical doctors don't always have the answer. And so I've delved into all sorts of different answers for my healing and from different sources. And I looked at I looked at my emotions and my spirit and stuff like that. And I was able to do a lot of self-healing. So it's been wonderful. And so I'm way into energy medicine. I think it's an emerging, phenomenal, exciting field to be involved with. And I just want to encourage you guys that if you do ever have something physical that you can't solve with regular medicine, to look into the metaphysical and try to suss it out that way, and just try different things to help heal it. Okay, so without further ado, Yaakov Adams. He was a customer for many, many years, and then he started working here about a little over a year ago, and then he has been developing his own practice, his energy healing practice, and he finally decided to step away from here and devote more of his time to his practice. So say hi, Yaakov.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having me, Susan.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. I'm excited to...
Thank you for sharing your story as well.
Oh, sure. I'm excited to ask you some questions. So, so what do you call yourself? If somebody says, what do you do? What do you tell them? And then, like, if you have a title, what would you call yourself?
So I generally start in a very broad spectrum, because when you're dealing with energy medicine and different alternative medicine practices, it's just very easy to get lost in trying to label certain things. So I start with very broad terms, and then as conversation goes, we tend to narrow it down. So I kind of primarily define myself as an alternative therapist, which is you have different disciplines and different practices that people do kind of practice on a more certified or licensed level. Alternative practices can be any of that plus anything else. So it's a lot more broader and a lot easier to explain what you're doing when you label it as alternative. And so energy medicine is getting more into the non-physical and energetic sides of the physical body. So as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, we're more than physical beings. We have spirits, souls, emotions, different things going on. And so energy medicine really tries to look at the holistic side of everything and see what else is going on outside of the physical. And there's also a strong relationship between the two. So we look at that a lot as energy medicine practitioners too.
And I don't know if you noticed, but Yaakov has a little bit of an accent, so I just want him to share where he's from. Where's that accent from?
I was born in Memphis, Tennessee.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. And how did you get into doing what you do?
So that's a really long story that I'm going to shorten up really quick for everybody.
We got time.
Okay. So when I was a child, I was gifted a bag of rocks from a kid in elementary school. This random kid just walked up to me one day with a bag of rocks and said, "Hey, these are for you." And I said, what are those? And he said, they're rocks and they're for you. And so I would take those and I would just kind of look at them. And I was into like the scientific stuff about stones, you know, igneous and metamorphic and sedimentary, and not too much into the metaphysical at that time. And so I would take those and stare at them, spread them out on the floor. I learned later that I was like connecting with the energy of the stones and things, but just had no idea then. So kind of that throughout my life, I kind of moved away from being into crystals on a scientific level and kind of had my experiences as a teenager and everything. I moved up here about 8 years ago, kind of a jump in the story. But I was leaving the classroom one day at PSU, Portland State University, and I saw an amethyst crystal on a window pane. And I looked at it and I was like, I know what that is, it's an amethyst. And I picked it up, I walked up to it and picked it up, and I started having these visuals of the child self that I was years back, connecting with stones and looking through tumbled stones and things like that. And I said, oh, this is a pretty empowering moment. There's something prolific going on. And I went home and I told my wife about that, and she said, you should do some research about the crystals. I'm pretty sure there's some interesting things going on there. You know, the earth is a healing vessel and things like that. So I started doing some research and I started to connect with more of the metaphysical properties of stones and things like that. And then I felt very inclined and kind of directed to offer that to people, to share with people my experience and help them to kind of gear their minds towards having their own experiences. That kind of began my process of connecting with crystals and crystal therapy and things like that. And then along the way, I've picked up a few different other energy medicine modalities as well. So it's kind of just been a journey of reconnecting with things that I feel that I knew at some point in the past and bringing them back up to my current state in life. Yeah.
So I want to make sure you guys know that you can ask questions at any time. We'd love to answer them for you. Mm-hmm. And if you miss this live and want to ask a question, just ask it in the comments. I'm sure Yaakov will answer it after we're done.
Yeah.
So you said so besides crystals,
mm-hmm.
What else do you use in your practice? What other modalities besides crystals do you use?
Yeah, so I'm trained in 2 different forms of energy work. Reiki is one, and then pranic healing, P-R-A-N-A, pranic healing is the other. And so both of those are 2 different ways of looking at the non-physical body and seeing kind of where your energy may be stagnant, congested, depleted, and we pretty much kind of work, I like to use the term energy hygiene, like it's all about helping the body maintain itself. I have a strong philosophy that like our bodies are very capable of healing themselves in and of themselves. Sometimes we need reminders, sometimes we need support groups, sometimes we need to have conversations, sometimes you just need to sit with yourself for a while or do something active, eat good food, things like that. It's all about kind of bringing your awareness to the things that you may be overlooking or skipping in your day-to-day walk that can help you achieve a greater state of wellness.
Do you ever see auras, or can you like see anything in the etheric body, or is it more of like a feeling thing for you?
So visuals come and go. That's not like a constant thing. I'm more of a tactile kind of sensor being. So I feel more heat, coolness, pressure, either resistance or like magnetization towards things. And every now and again, if we have like a really deep connection going on, like in a session, colors might come through. Yeah, and also I wanted to backstep on a question that she asked. I also do sound therapy. So I work with Tibetan singing bowls and tuning forks, which are, the term I like to use for that is vibrational medicine, because it's all different types of vibrations. Even the crystals are different types of vibrations that we use in and around the human body to kind of create different patterns, bring things back to a level of stasis, or alter things if that's what needs to happen in the session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I kind of like to look at it as like Feng Shui for the soul, or for your chakras. Like you said, hope to bring it back to homeostasis, and like in Feng Shui, the energy gets stuck in places in your home or in a room, office, whatever. And so the idea is you want to bring something into, or alter the space to make it, the energy flow again. Would you say that's similar to what you do for the body? And
yeah, you know, just random walking through the city, sometimes you might get stressed out or anxiety, and you have these holding patterns that your body can go into, where you're holding stress, you're holding tension in areas like your back or your knees, maybe your ankles. It might just be all psychological, it might be all in your head. So we're totally looking to try to track on where the energy is being held and to help it move along. Yeah.
And so when you use crystals with people, how do you use them? Like, do you ask them to hold it? Do you lay it on the body, or do you wand them with it? How do you incorporate the crystals in specific?
A little bit of both. That's a good question. So my practice is I'm informed by I have a teacher who she has a psychology background and she uses crystals in her work. I'm informed by books. I'm informed by self-driven experiences, and then kind of doing some journey work and tapping into ancestral lines of using crystals and the earth as a healing tool. And so with that, I would use crystals on the body, so putting them on physical places, also kind of putting you into a grid. So if you think about the idea of a crystal grid that you might have on your altar, and you create it and you have intentions that you invest in it, you can also do that with the human body. You can put crystals around you and on you, and you might set certain intentions for those crystals, or those crystals might inherently have certain properties. And so by putting them on and around your body, you kind of create these like bubbles of energy that you're kind of sitting in and lying in for a while.
Oh,
so
that's
a little
cool.
bit of both.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that much, of using your body like a grid. That's cool. I like that. Can you give me specific examples of like maybe 2 different people, different cases where you help them and what the outcome was and how you help them?
Yeah, so a lot of people who aren't like kind of off and in their own directions on like spiritual journeys who come to see me for sessions, generally in this day and time, are working with anxiety, stress, sleep issues, or just like not having space to process out in the world. So stones that would be really good for that might be lepidolite, which is a lithium-bearing form of mica. And I have an example piece here. It's kind of you can kind of see the color. It's kind of a magenta color. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer there. Magenta, flaky mica kind of piece. It's got lithium in it, which is a really good stone for, or really good mineral for mood stabilizing. Good for treating things like depression, anxiety, and just really good for bringing down imbalances in emotions. So that's a really good stone, to place on your body or around your body. Hold it in your hand. Hematite is another one. It's oxidized iron. So the iron in this stone syncs up with the iron that's in your blood, and it kind of creates a general grounding feeling because you feel very connected and in touch with the stone and with the iron energy there. And there's lots of other things that we kind of work with in the practice. But I think grounding and working with like imbalances in emotions are 2 things that come up pretty often in the work. Yeah.
Do you want to share with us? We have some other crystals here. Do you want to share with us how you would work with them, like what they're for? Sure.
So aside from those, let's talk about one of my favorite stones, actually, shungite. This is a shungite pyramid. So shungite is a carbon-based mineral from Russia, primarily from Russia. This is a pyramid, but you can also find rough pieces, spheres, and things like that. So this specific piece I would use as a body placement. So I would put it probably somewhere along the body where a person might be experiencing congestion, because shungite is a really good, it breaks up energy. It's a really good stone for detox. That's the term I'm looking for. It's a really good detox stone. It also can be a good stone to kind of open a meditation with, because it activates the light body. So you can use it to remove things, and you can also use it to kind of get you into a preparatory state for getting deeper into work. Other stones, black tourmaline. Black tourmaline and shungite, I'll go ahead and say, are both EMF, electromagnetic frequency blocking stones. So say, for example, if you work in an office space and you sit around wireless routers or laptops or things like that, copy machines, you start to get that fatigue and maybe some nausea if it's really strong, if you're really sensitive to the energies. So working with these stones can be really good for kind of combating that to an extent, regulating it, keeping it from getting so overwhelming into your field. And so in practice with these, I would use these. Black tourmaline is a good root chakra, so the first chakra right at your sacrum, well not sacrum, pelvic floor, waistline area. And you can put it at your feet too as well. It kind of grounds energy in. So that's one way that I would use this stone. I would do the same thing with shungite. Place it all over the body as well if you want to kind of activate different areas or detox different areas. Another stone that I have, one of the more general stones that I use in sessions is quartz, clear quartz. You can get clear quartz in all different varieties. This is a cluster that you would sit You could build a grid around you with pieces like this. You could put this on an altar and kind of set intentions while you're in the space that these energies are kind of moving around while you're doing your work. You can also use points. Points can direct energy in different directions. If it's a clear quartz, you can project energy. If it's a smoky quartz, you can pour energy out. So that's another thing that's used a lot in my sessions. And almost all of the crystals are really good just body placement tools. So you can place them anywhere on your body.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Jean wants to know, and I was going to ask anyway, where do you practice? Where do you work out of?
Yeah, so my wife and I, we have a business that is located in the Portland area. It's on 19th and Sandy, Northeast 19th and Sandy. The address, if anyone out there is curious, is 316 Northeast 19th Avenue. And the name of our business is Fauna Flora Terra. You can find that online as well.
And we'll put it in the comments.
Okay. Yeah, we have lots of different resources on the webpage. There's an explanation of my practice. There's an explanation of my wife and her work. She's an LMT, and she also practices traditional Thai body work. We do work together. We call it a mind-body synthesis, where she's working with the physical body and I'm working with the energy body. And we also offer separate sessions where she's doing her work and or I'm doing my work in different situations. Yeah.
And approximately how long would a session last with you?
So we typically go 111 an hour is our that's kind of our business structure. I would say a normal session would probably be best at least 90 minutes. We have 2-hour option, 3-hour option, and more if you really want to get deeper into the work. But I would say standard session would be at least 90 minutes. Mm-hmm.
And then finally, if there was some kind of wisdom or something that people could take away with them from this interview, what do you think it would be?
I would say, if you're into crystals or if you're looking for different ways of practicing and connecting with earth medicine, to get out there and experiment. See what types of things you get as opposed to reading books or listening to different things online. That's all really good information, and I've done both and still do both to this day. But the most potent form of energy medicine that you can receive from a crystal is your own inherent experience with it. So if you're looking for people to work with you in that respect, a person like myself is available. But if you're looking for self-driven experiences, totally find a crystal that you feel attracted to, sit with it, hold it, put it on your body, just kind of see what starts to happen. Yeah.
I would strongly agree with that. Thank you, Yaakov, for that wisdom. It's so true. After all the information that's in the books, it's all channeled. It's not a science, so you have to experience it for yourself. Plus, different people, we have different chemistry, different makeups. We might respond to it differently than the person that read the book. So it's definitely words of wisdom right there, for sure. So remember, if you have any questions, you could still ask them even when we're not live anymore. Sure, Yaakov will check and see, or I'll let you know if there's any questions to answer.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on our website, please remember to like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram. And do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah, so there is a Facebook page. Fauna Flora Terra is just the name of our business. Same as the website, you would just add .com after that. And then Instagram is also Fauna Flora Terra. So you can find us any of those ways, and if you have questions, comments, anything at all, you can also drop a line in those directions too.
Thank you so much, Yaakov. This is great.
You're
I
welcome.
think our audience really appreciated it. And again, let us know if you have any comments or questions. We'd love to help you out. Thanks for watching,
Thank you very much.
Join us tomorrow for the 420 contest at 420. Thanks. Cheers.
Bye.